All right, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here at Atlanta News First Plus for breaking news right now. I'm Megan Packer. We are on top of breaking news in North Georgia, an urgent manhunt right now for a suspect on the run accused of shooting and critically injuring a police officer in McCaysville, Georgia. That is in Fannin County, up on the border with Tennessee. There's a very active situation there right now as law enforcement officers from several different agencies have come together looking for this suspect. So I want to get right out to our reporter, Joshua Skinner. He is live in McCaysville. He's been there all morning for us as officers are searching for this suspect. Joshua, tell me what you know about the search and also how the officer is doing.
Yeah, first about kind of what happened last night. It was Captain Worley who was shot. Brantley Worley shot last night. It did not take place here, but this is where the suspect lived. There was a whole situation on numerous different locations that around McCaysville. This is a small town, about 1,100 people. Brantley Worley of the McCaysville Police Department was shot in the face, we're told, at a different address at 357 on First Street. That is on the other side of Blue Ridge Drive that is out here about less than a mile away. This is a very small neighborhood. Now, if you look over here, you might be able to see, you can see some of the police and officers who are hanging out. They've been walking around collecting evidence. This is the home of Timothy Craig Ramsey. He is the suspect. He's 26 years old, and he has an arrest record. We have been talking with neighbors about wild stories. One neighbor called him completely mental. Another neighbor said that he was usually very violent and very aggressive. He lives in that home, but he's not always here. Last night, they said he was actually around this area, walking into people's yards, screaming at homeowners. They then called 911, and that is when, at some point, a large SWAT presence appeared out here. One neighbor said that SWAT officers and snipers were in his home, having pointing guns out his window. There was a whole situation where they breached the home with explosives, flashbangs went in. He was not there, and then the big manhunt ensued. That is when we arrived around 8 a.m. when the manhunt was going on. We were out near Blue Ridge Drive, which is about 3 or 4 blocks from here. Police told us to move from that location because it was an active scene, and they were worried that the suspect, who they describe as armed and extremely dangerous, they were worried that he might still be in the area. This is a very, not necessarily rural, but there's a lot of wilderness in this area. There's woods, there's cabins that are maybe abandoned or not in use right now. We're told a lot of Airbnbs are out here, and so there are a lot of places to hide. Now, police spent a lot of the morning looking for Ramsey out here this morning. Around 9:30 or so, that search kind of ebbed off, and they began kind of expanding that search. They put out a blue alert, a BOLO. There's basically now a statewide search now, as there are initially numerous counties that were out here taking part in all of this. Now that is going to expand. We're told that if you see Ramsey, who we have a photo of, I'm not sure if we've shown that, but if we do have the photo of Ramsey, who we're told you're supposed to call 911, do not approach him, do not confront him. They say he is an extremely dangerous individual. As for the status of Captain Brantley Worley, he was airlifted to a hospital in nearby Chattanooga. Remember, we're right next to the Tennessee border, so Chattanooga is the closest major city. We're told that he is in critical condition. Police Chief Michael Early here in McCaysville told us, gave a very elaborate explanation as to what happened, including a broken neck, a brain bleed. We're told there might be some lung issues and just liquid in the lungs issues. So a very serious condition. We're also told that he's married with small children. A very emotional press conference from the police chief once he started talking about the captain's family. So a lot of this is still going on here. This, though, again, it's kind of calmed down in this area, which leads me to believe that they don't necessarily think that Ramsey is in this general vicinity. However, up at a Sonic a few blocks up the road, there are still SWAT officers who are coming in and out and looking around. So they obviously haven't given up this search area yet, but it's definitely expanded, and they are asking for the public's help. And maybe if you see Ramsey, please notify them. But still an active situation, not as intense as it was, but they're hoping to find Ramsey and arrest him soon.
Josh, you're so emotional for that police chief we heard from earlier. This is such a small department. Can you elaborate on that, just the emotion of this and just how small this community is and all of the support that you're seeing come in from all over?
Yes, so this is, as you said, a very small department. Only about 1,100 people live here in McCaysville. We spoke to one gentleman when we were up at the police station. He was just driving by asking us what happened. He asked us which officer it was. We said it was Captain Worley. Asked if he knew the gentleman. He goes, "Oh, yeah, we know him. Everyone knows everyone in this town." And that's kind of the neighborhood it is. It seems like there's a very good relationship between the people who live here in the police department. Some of the people we talked to had nothing but good things to say about all of the police officers in this town, and they are very, very adamant that they hope that Ramsey is brought in or captured soon. But, you know, in small towns like this, it's maybe a little bit difficult for us to understand in places when you're in like Atlanta, where you're talking about people in the millions. You know, you have people here in this community who've lived here. The gentleman who lives right behind where the camera is now told us that his wife has lived here since she was 17, almost 60 years now. So these people know this road. They know this area. This is, by the way, this is Kingstown Street here in this area off Blue Ridge. But they say that this is a very quiet community, a very safe community. They have never seen anything close to this happen, but they said that Ramsey has been a problem in recent years, causing trouble. One neighbor said that Ramsey shot out his windows one time after the two got into a dispute. And so it's obviously not the first time it's happened. That same neighbor, though, did say he never expected it to escalate like this. He just thought that Ramsey was just kind of a crazy guy.
All right, Joshua Skinner, I'll let you go there, continuing to work that scene. Thanks for checking in with us here. Joshua Skinner for us live in McCaysville. We do have a photo of this suspect, so let's try to pull that up for you here. This is the suspect on the run right now. Take a good look. And there is a blue alert that's been issued for Timothy Craig Ramsey, again, age 26. He is wanted for injuring Captain Brantley Worley of the McCaysville Police Department. Again, just to recap what we know, it happened last night, shortly after 11 o'clock on 1st Street in McCaysville, small town right up there on the Tennessee line. Here's what we know about Ramsey. He is described as 5'11", 185 pounds, long brown hair and blue eyes. And as we heard from Josh, and as we've been seeing all morning, there are local, state, and possibly even federal agents there on the ground trying to find this suspect who is on the run. We also heard from Josh there that he is known in the community, both to neighbors and to the police department. And we're talking North Georgia, so we're talking woods, we're talking cabins, possibly abandoned cabins. So a lot of territory for law enforcement to be looking for this suspect today. So unnerving. So you've got a variety of emotions, I would imagine, for people in this area. Hearts are breaking for this officer who was shot, who's fighting for his life. People are probably scared with the suspect on the run right now, locking their doors, staying inside, not knowing what's next. So there's just kind of a lot of moving parts right now and a lot going on in this community. But again, what's important right now is for police to find this suspect. If you have any information about where Timothy Ramsey is, where he might be, who he might be with right now, you are urged to call 911 and reach out to police immediately. We also have a picture of the officer who was injured, because so many people are, of course, sending well wishes and prayers to him. Here is his photo. This is Captain Brantley Worley, again, of the McCaysville Police Department. He was critically injured when he was shot, according to the police chief. Last night, we're hearing from officials, he was shot in the neck area and is dealing with several different medical challenges right now as doctors work on him. But he is a father. He's an ordained minister, we heard from the chief earlier. So he sounds like a beloved member of this community. And we know people are just sending in their condolences and their thoughts and wishes and prayers to this very small department. We also read a statement earlier today from Governor Brian Kemp that he and his wife and daughters are asking all Georgians to pray not only for this officer, but for all of the officers who put their lives on the line every single day. So we will continue to stay on top of this story. Keep it right here with us as we learn the very latest all day. Our crews will stay in North Georgia, and we will continue to work on this here at the Atlanta News First studio as well. But that is the very latest, this active urgent manhunt right now for this suspect accused of opening fire on the McCaysville police officer last night. That officer in the hospital in critical condition. So as we learn more, again, we will keep you updated on the very latest. We do also want to talk a little bit about our weather right now. So we want to bring in First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams, because it has just been so nice outside. Hope everyone has been able to enjoy some of this nice fall and summer-like weather. I would say it's been a little bit of a mix for everybody. Let's see if we can take a look outside here right now, because it is just already an awesome start to the day. And Isaac is here now to talk about how the weekend is looking and how it's going to look next week as everybody gets ready to go back to work and school. And Isaac, I mean, I know it is officially summer still, but it's feeling like summer and not really like fall yet, right? Yeah. We're going to be close to 90 again.
That's right, Megan. The humidity, thankfully, is behaving out there. We are looking at, again, the Midtown skyline, where it is absolutely gorgeous out there. No cloud coverage in sight, and we are looking good out there for the weather today. If you're spending some time outside, we're looking at the sunshine continuing here. And we're going to continue to see that stick around all weekend. Temperatures out there this morning still, as we approach the lunch hour, are all close to 80 degrees in Atlanta. In LaGrange, it is 81. Blairsville at 70 degrees, that morning fog finally dissipating, mid to upper 70s elsewhere. So after a start in the 50s in a lot of spots of North Georgia, we are warming up steadily again as we have no clouds in the sky. Plenty of sunshine will continue today. The high temperature 87 degrees, no chance of rain. Here's a look at satellite and radar. High pressure across western North Carolina, keeping a fresh supply of dry air in place. So even though it is going to be fairly warm to almost hot this weekend into next week, the humidity is going to be a non-factor. Notice there's some showers and storms off to the offshore, thanks to a stalled front, a couple areas of low pressure spinning up in east of South Florida and over near Bermuda. These are not tropical areas of low pressure, but in the truest sense, but they are going to be bringing some unsettled weather to the Carolina and possibly Georgia coastlines over the next few days, but that is not going to impact North Georgia and in metro Atlanta. We're looking at nice and dry weather sticking around there. For the next few days, here's a look at Futurecast. Notice some moisture kind of being pulled into the Carolinas by Tuesday, and notice potentially a soggy, rainy forecast for the Carolina coastline. But we are just going to be too far west here in North Georgia, I think, to tap into any of that moisture. And then for Thursday afternoon, we're looking at rain chances to the east and rain chances to the west. We'll see if any of that activity makes its way closer to the region. Otherwise, we're looking at dry weather. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. And we've got highs in the upper 80s, lows in the mid to upper 60s. Again, this is going to be a range. This morning, Atlanta only got to about 69 or 70, whereas surrounding spots were well down in the 50s. So once again, a pretty big spread in those temperatures. Of course, the mountains may be into the upper 50s as well. There is a small chance at rain next Friday, and even then it's just 20%. Right now, we're just not seeing much out there in terms of wet weather because all of it's kind of locked up on the coastline. And as we look ahead to the September 19th to 23rd timeframe, so we're kind of jumping ahead for the next 6 to 10 days, and we've got above average temperatures continuing. So this pattern is not looking to change. We don't see any signs of a cool down per se, even though the weather is heating up a bit. The humidity, thankfully, is behaving. To the tropics, we have an increased chance of development. It's now 50% off the coast of Africa. Right now, very disorganized showers and storms out there, but things could get more favorable over the next few days. Again, week before last, I suppose, there was a big tropical wave out there that fizzled, thankfully, and we'll see if this one is able to develop. If so, the next name on the list would be Gabrielle. The Eastern Pacific really has kind of been stilling the thunder so far. So again, back to the forecast, 7-day, 87 to 89 degrees for the next 5 days, and then we'll be pushing 90 next Thursday and Friday. But again, even with that slight jump in temperature, we're still not looking at anything with major humidity. So with that in mind, we're looking at very dry weather continuing, as well as borderline hot weather through the end of next week, again with those highs approaching 90 degrees. Here's again at Midtown Atlanta, not a cloud in the sky. Have a good rest of your Saturday. We'll check in later today with more news headlines as well as more on the forecast.